Good afternoon, traders. This is AJ Trader 7, as you can tell, of Awesomecalls Trading, and this is today's webinar. This is my Twitter feed, AJ Trader 7, the real AJ. Had it since 2012. I am the head moderator in Awesomecalls Trading. Alongside, we have quite a few moderators in our room, and I will share with them to you. We have Janny, great short seller in the room. We have Raphael, Dave the Trader, Fire Trader, B Trades, and Dark Side Trades. I will be adding him later today. And basically, for what are we about? $6 a day. You come in here, and every morning we put together a pre-market plan. This is really important when you're a day trader to have some sort of when you walk into a room, have a plan of attack, like what to trade. You guys, you have your platforms, you have your money. Some of you have, 5, 10 grand. Some of you have 5 million, 2 million, a million, whatever you have. I always try to provide opportunities for each and every trader as they come in. And every morning, I get up 2 hours before the market, about 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the West Coast. And so what I do is I get up in the morning and I do research. And I research for hours. In about 10 minutes to 6, I walk into the chat room, and traders are already trading. Janny Moore was already trading RSLS this morning. And there are already mods in the room giving ideas and thoughts of the market today. And then I usually come in about 10 minutes to 6 and I start, and my list is already done. And what I do is I tend to give you an idea in the morning on my Twitter feed what my interest is, and you can see it every morning right here. First of all, I say good morning to you and tell you to wake up, and then I give you my stock ideas that I've researched for hours. All right, and I have quite a few on my list, but these are the 10 or 12 that are going to pretty much make my list. This tells the mass amount of traders that are in Awesomecalls Trading. It shows them what my interest is so they can get their setup all set up on their computers. And when I walk in, all they do is read the notes. Things do change because I do put this up at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning Pacific time. And then I start forming the list. And this is the list. It's called a pre-market game plan. There's quite a few chat rooms that have come from our room. They call themselves the battle plan. Some of them call themselves the plan of the day or the morning make it plan. I mean, everybody's got comes up with their same wording, but they all came from here, so this is all they know. And so what we try to do here is we just try to give a lineup of different stocks, anywhere from $1 all the way to, I like to stay around $400 and less on stocks. They're easier to read. Once you start getting the Googles and price lines, I can read those, I can trade those, but unfortunately, a lot of people in the room don't want to buy one share of Priceline or Booking, or one share of Google, or 10 shares. I like to give them stuff that can move 10, 15 points for like 100, 200 shares. So this morning's list was RSLS, ELOX, CRISP, Roku, WB, Square, YY, GWPH, Shop, Netflix, NVIDIA, and TLRY. And these came up to most because they were gapping up. And I read the news and made a determination how to play each one. I'll give you an exact entry, an exact exit, and what to look for and why. So let's start with a really easy one. I have a lot of short sellers in the room that trade through Centerpoint and TradeNet, and they like always for me to find them a really great short with size they can get in there and short the stock. And this morning was RSLS. Now I want to give props to Janny Moore. In the morning, he really came really great this morning, and one of our great traders in the room, Palmer, alongside a few others, did make good money taking the call. And let me show you how the setup was this morning. Basically, there was some news. When I read the news myself, I did not feel the stock would warrant too much of a huge pop. I thought it would get through 3 from pre-market numbers. And after that, it'd probably top off. If it snapped 220, and here's the flag right here. If we broke 225 to 220, I knew the stock would come down all the way to 140 and under. And you can see the 140 right here and under. And I've been doing this for about 15 years, so I'm pretty accurate when I come up with these, and it helps traders go in with decent size where they can make a good living. At the same token, if you only have $3,000 in your trading account, and you could take a 500 shares here or 1,000 shares, and you'll make a point. And so I really want you to kind of break that down. Let's say you have a $5 account, $500 account, it's a cash account, and they give you 6-time buying power, that's $3,000 to work with. Let's assume you took $500, 500 shares short at $2.25, 230 here, and you waited and you got a full point on the stock. You basically, on $500, you made $500. You made 100% return on your money. And this was a really good setup for everyone. So you don't need a lot of money to make money. You just need to understand how the trade's going to go and why it's going to go. And that's why you need the guidance of a room to help you kind of walk you through the steps of it. So this morning's call on RSLS was simply as put, stock could get through a 3 spot. It has room to run. If it does break 220 at the open, look for $1.40 and under for the stock to come all the way back down. Okay. So it was not primary endpoint. This was the study conference. They presented some ideas on the type 2 positive news on the diabetes. However, again, it wasn't primary endpoint, so therefore the stock was going to most likely come down. Okay. The next stock that we did was a stock called CRISP. Now, over the weekend, CRISP had a lot of claims in China about 2 burst genetic babies being born with their CRISPR product. So, unfortunately, there was no analyst backing up the claims or suggesting anything or increasing price targets. As a trader, when I look at that, I'm automatically thinking pop and drop and fade. And that's how I trade these stocks. Now, you moderators in different rooms that are listening here that are copying my ideas, you need to understand that when you're trying to teach your traders. All right, so write that down. So you look smart the next time a trade like this comes out. You don't look stupid. And here, we just call it out the way we see it. This was a simple pop. Go long at 36.70. I give you the entry. I said the stock would go through 38. There are no upgrades on the stock, so therefore the stock will come back down and come right back down after the initial pop to 38. All right, so we go to CRISP. Let's run it up. And here's CRISP today. Now this was written down 1 hour before the market even opened. And we do not change our notes. What's given to the traders is given. It is what it is. So in pre-market, as you can see, the stock was sitting here at 36. I said go long at 36.70. I said take some. Expect a pop at the open to 38. Top it off. Short the stock back down. Fade it the rest of the day. As you can see, the stock hit $38.35, which allowed you to make about a 0.50 on the stock. Really good play there. Okay. The next stock on our list was a stock called Roku. I think a lot of you are familiar with this. And with Roku, I really felt very comfortable that Roku would have a nice play in it in the morning. Market was up, gapping up 200 points. I've been trading Roku since the day it IPO'd. I was the original stock traders that called for the Roku to be a monster IPO. And in spite of what a lot of people said, I stuck with my gun, and this stock ended up running all the way, as you know, up to $60 plus. So from $15. So every day I do play it if it's in play, and what makes it in play is if it gaps up or gaps down. So Roku, I was very comfortable. We had a gap up here, as you can tell, you can see. But when a gap is done, okay, take notes of this. When a gap is up thin, and what I mean by thin, you see how the air pockets, see all that air? When it's up thin, I always want a pull at the open, and I want a full gap fill, if not lower. So my thought was, once I looked at this, I thought, well, the stock will probably come down to 40 and under, and then probably go long, probably to 41.50 to 42. And that was the call. So as you can see, pre-market notes on item number, where is it, Roku, number 4. Look for a small pop if it comes. If not, look for the pull right at the open below 40, and then take it to 42. So I basically give you an entry at 40 and under, And once you take that, expect the stock to curl around and then pop towards that 41, 42 area. And let's take a look how the stock worked. All right, ding, 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 ding. Market pulled it. There was no pop. Pulled, 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 pulled. Take the 40 and under. Market order. Go long. Boom. And there you go. 41.31. So if you took 500 shares, you made about $600 in roughly, I'd say about 6 minutes of work. 15, maybe 10 minutes of work. So not a bad trade at all. This was all lined up, ready to go. And pretty nicely executed. All right, the next trade we did, I have to show you this one. This was TLRY. Now, TLRY, we play this almost every day. And I took a week off on it last week during the holidays. But today, like anything else, I saw it gapping up. Here's the gap up. You see it? And TLRY with no news or upgrades tends to gap fill. So my main focus on this stock was to short the stock to 116 and under, and then bounce it. And I was pretty adamant about the stock doing that. So these were my pre-market notes right here, and I'll show them to you on Netflix, which is right here. Actually, TRY, right here. This was gapping up on GWPH news, in my opinion. I'd like to see any little pop at the open towards 122 if it comes. Scaling short, take the stock down to 116 and under. Bottom curl it, go long. And I was pretty adamant that we would fill the gap, if not more so to the downside. And so I want you to see how the stock worked. Ding, 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 ding. I wanted to give it room to 122 since it hit 121.50 on the peak. So if you took short here at 120, give it room to 122, have a 121 average, and within a matter of 4 minutes, you basically double bottomed at 113. So it would have scored you at least 4 points to the downside, if not more. Actually, this is an 8-point trade. So really nicely executed if you took the trade. Shorts are hard to find sometimes on the stock. TD doesn't usually have them. IB may. I don't know. I think Centerpoint's probably one of the ones that have them in TradeNet. But even if I don't have them, I still give the setup for the stock. Next trade we had that was on our list today was a stock called GWPH. I'm sure you heard about this trade today. This one had some positive news on there, and I found it on scan this morning. It was gapping up. Here's where it closed at 124. You could see the gap up here this morning to 129. So it immediately had my attention once I saw that gap up. So I had to go read the news. So let's take a look at the news. So we come over here. We go to GWPH on scan. This is a scan I will be paying for an entire year for you if you sign the annual in December. For the month of December, I'll be doing for new annuals. If you sign, I will pay for Newsware or Newswatch, which will also give you fly on the wall for the entire year up to $90 per month. So anyway, GWPH, right here, it had news that it gave positive results from a phase 3 study. Now that's the key word there, study. It is not primary endpoint. This is a study, okay? And it was positive. The problem with these wordings, and especially you moderators that are trying to become, something, you want to sound important, you have to remember these key words, okay? Study and positive. That means it's not primary endpoint, which to me is a pop and drop. The key to this kind of trade is really knowing the stock itself. And I've been trading GWPH for a very, very long time. So the call was in the room. So we go to the pre-market notes, as you can see, written down, gapping up 5. I'd like to see the stock hit 133 on the top, then scale down and bring it back down to 125 to 126, bottom curl. If it pulls, go long off to 125, 126. So I was really looking for the pop at open to 133, even though it was still gapping up 5 points. All right, this was written down again 1 hour before the market was even opened. I will show you the stock now. And as you can see, the bell rang, ding, 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 and the stock ran to 133.16. If you scaled in short and brought it down, stock now hit 127, and I still think we have a little bit more to go to fill the gap. Really nicely executed and well done, well prepared. And this way, if you got in the stock short at 131, you knew the topping was coming because based on my pre-market notes, I felt very confident we would have a topping on it and then we would short the stock. So you could play it at both sides. Pop at the open 3 to 4 and short the stock. Next stock that we played this morning, I played this personally in front of everyone this morning, was Netflix. Now, I played this just almost to perfection. I have to say I was very, very, very proud of myself. And I saw the stock had closed on Friday at around 258, 259. But as you can see, it was gapping up because the market was gapping up over 200 points. The problem I felt with Netflix is that we were going to get a sell-off. And I felt that we not only filled the gap, I just felt like it was just going to dump. And when it dumps, it makes me want to trade the stock even more. And I love it. Now, the key to trading Netflix is scaling in. You have to learn how to scale in a stock. You cannot just go in there and start full size just because it gap filled. You have to, because truthfully, you know, when a stock is pulling, your job as a trader is to identify where you feel the bottom, where you're comfortable with. And I felt very confident that Netflix would bounce even if it filled the gap and sold off. I felt that it wouldn't come down any more than probably what, 250. So I usually when I get into a stock like Netflix, I start at 258, 259, and I'll just add. And I continue to add on weakness because I'm in small because I know the stock will bounce. It's just selling off its pre-market highs. That's all it's doing. It's filling a gap. And also, you have to know that the market's up 200, 250 points. So chances are the sell-off is an advantage to you to load up the stock and be able to bounce it. And that's what I was trying to teach everyone in Awesome Calls this morning. So, as you can tell, you can watch here, Netflix, gapping up 5. If there's a small pop at the open, that'd be great. If not, let it yank to 260 and under. Look for the bottom curl and go long. So, as the stock was pulling this morning, I started in around here. I ended up around 259.80, I believe I started. And then I started adding at 56 and 54. So my average was about 257, 258. And by the time it popped, I let it ride. I took some at 259 and I said, okay, I want 260 on the rest. And 260 came, and it was a beautiful 1.5, almost 2-point play, if not more. And the stock ended up running all the way to $264. Did exactly step by step by step by step what I wanted to do. It was a great play. Many in the room played it. Now, if you have a small account, you could still take 25 shares, 5,000 buying power, take 25 for 4 points, make $100 on your account. It's all about knowing in a comfort level where the stock is going to go. And that's what we really, really do very, very well in here. I wasn't afraid for it to dip below where it closed, and I knew it was going to bounce. I was very, very, very confident about the bounce. And as you can tell, it bounced. And just on the pullback to the bounce, I mean, it was an amazing play. Okay. So let me see. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we have one more trade to present to you. I'm going to go with NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA, I thought was a pretty good call. I came in this morning. Here's where it closed on Friday, and you can see the gap up. Here we got another gap up. Now, on NVIDIA, I've been trading it for many, many, many years, and as a pro, I tend to gauge it pretty well without a bunch of going back 200 or 30-day or 50-day EMA. I just usually can look and really gauge appropriately where I think the stock will probably pop and drop. And being the market was up 250 points, plus Credit Suisse came out with a $225 price target on a buy rating. So I felt the stock would probably warrant a pop right at the open. The key to being a professional trader versus an amateur is actually knowing where the stock's going to stop. So if you want to look at my pre-market notes that were done 1 hour before the market even opened, you could see clearly NVIDIA. Credit Suisse came out with a buy rating, gapping up 4. I want to pop at the open to 151 to 152, and then I want to pull the stock to 147. Okay, now I know you're probably looking at this saying, and this was my first 5-minute, I mean, once I walked in the room at 10 minutes to 6, this was one of the first types that I did. So what that told the trader was they put it on screen, and all they had to do was wait. They could have went long pre-market and just said, well, he said it's going to go to 151 and to 152, so I can go long at 150, make 2 points, or I could just wait to short it and take it down to 147 because he said, AJ Trader 7 said that Nevada would hit 151 to 152, scale in short, take it down to 147. It's in writing. It's right there. Entries, exits, and reasons. All right, so let's take a look at the stock. Ding, 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 ding. Stock hit. There's your 151. And I wanted 152. Forgive me, it's Monday, so I was off 16 cents. So what I'm trying to tell you is there's nobody in the world, maybe me once in a while, that can actually nail the top of a stock. Oh, of course, Gianni Moore. I mean, Gianni is the king of shorts. So, but as a gifted trader, I do my very best to give you where I think the stock will go. And today it was 151 to 152. So if you did take short at 151 and added at 152, you would have a 150 average. If you didn't add, because it didn't hit 152 and you still stuck at 151, I want you to take a look at the stock. The stock came down 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you recall, the pre-market notes said the stock would come down to 147, and there is 147.20. So it turned out to be a really nice paycheck, and you could bounce it off the 147. So typically, you could have took 4 to the down and 3 to the up and made 7 points if you just followed this one to a T. And that was it. So those were the 7 stocks that stood out this morning. We did a calculation this morning with some of the mods, and I believe we were about 91% correct on our calls. And everything was laid out and given to each trader and presented as to why. I always provide you the news. I always provide you the entries, the exits, and an explanation, all written before the market even opens. About 5 minutes, 6 minutes before the market opens, I go over everything live, so you can start setting up. Market opens, you can execute, and within the first, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you could be done. Some people are finished in 5, so. And most of the trades that I provide in this room are with range. I always give you at least 1 to 10 points. So, okay. And that is today's webinar. And if you want to join us, you can look at the pre-market game plan. You can click any of these icons, join the room, and you can come in. And keep in mind, I'm here to help you every day. I want you to be the very best trader. And this year, as you can tell on my annual, for my annual subscribers, I will be really, sorry about that. I will be really trying hard to, let me see right here. This is my pinned tweet. This year, I will be investing in you. Last year, I gave a lot of webinars for free with some of the mods I had in the room. This year, I'm going to be putting my money back towards you. So I will pay for your trade ideas for an entire year. You just send me the bill every month. I will pay for briefing.com, which is right there. I will pay for Newsware, which is right there. And if you want to be in another chat room, strongly suggest going and negotiating with them and tell them, like, hey, I'm only here part-time, whatever. Suggest to them, hey, you want me, charge me $90, and just send me the bill every month. This way you can pre-market with me in the morning, make your money quick, and then you can go over there and float between the rooms. And besides, most of the rooms anyway copy from our list anyway, so you might as well just get it from the source instead of just going to a room that just copies. And that's it. All right. So thank you for joining us, and I will see you tomorrow. And thank you, and take care. Bye-bye.